welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina and today is another Foundation Friday video. So today's Foundation Friday video is going to be on the Joah Truly Yours Drop Foundation. And in case you are new to my channel and you don't know what foundation frenzies are basically a full review where I take a foundation, I wear it for a week, I show you all of the different days of me wearing it, and I give you kind of my overall arching review on the foundation, because first impressions aren't really good with foundation. Sometimes things work well with one primer or without a primer, or with certain powders or in certain weather conditions. So this is my series where I take the foundation and I wear it for typically 5 to 6 days. Now before I jump into all of the specs of the foundation, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I do upload every single day, Monday through Friday. I do upload at random times, so definitely make sure to hit that bell notification. And now without further ado, let's hop into the specs of this foundation. So this is the foundation. It is a glass bottle with a squeezy top. It's a dropper form in a foundation bottle. The bottle is really nice. It's a nice like frosted glass. It feels nice and heavy. You also get a little bit more than a full fluid ounce, so this is the standard size for foundations. As far as the shade range, there are 12 shades in total. I believe I picked the lightest one, which the shade I got is 110 Porcelain. I might have gotten the second to lightest one. I can't remember which one, but I am on the lighter spectrum. So if you are a similar shade to me, this actually works pretty well for me. As far as the price, I saw different prices. I think when I bought this, it was on sale for 30% off. So I think I got this for around like $8 to $7. But on Joah's website, it is currently $9.50. And then you can also find this on CVS's website. So it just depends on who's doing sales and who isn't. But it's typically between $7 to $10. So really not a bad price range at all. And then as far as the benefits and claims of this foundation, it claims that it's going to be lightweight, that's going to be a semi-matte finish, that it's also going to be hydrating, brightening, and smoothing. So it's going to do all of those things and be semi-matte and feel lightweight. And we will see throughout the wear test whether I feel this way. I'm pretty sure I hit on most of those points at some point during some of the days. So we will definitely see if all of those claims are real. It doesn't claim to be oil reducing. It doesn't claim to be long wearing. So I think I talk about those as well, but looking at the claims, it is kind of null and void because they never claim to be any of those. But if you want to see how long this wears anyways, I do a full 12-hour wear test and kind of show you. Now before I jump into the first day's wear test, we'll jump over into swatches and then we'll jump over to the wear tests. Alright, so here are the swatches. Here's the Joah Truly Yours 110 Porcelain. Next to that is the Maybelline Superstay Foundation in the same shade name, 110 Porcelain. Next to that is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation in the color Porcelain as well, but I think now it's called Natural Ivory. So this is not the lightest shade. Next to that is the Clinique Beyond Perfection Foundation in the color 0.5 Breeze. And then last is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation in the color LC1. So now that the swatches are done, let's just get into day number one. Alright guys, so today is going to be day number one with the Joah Truly Yours Natural Finish Foundation drops. This is the second drop foundation in a row, but I did order this with my Joah order and that video went up like 3 weeks ago and I haven't even unpeeled this yet. Ooh. That was satisfying. Here it is. It looks really nice. It's like frosted. It's frosted glass. It looks nice for how affordable it is. So as you guys know, for day number one, I don't wear a primer. I just have my SPF on, which you guys know by now is the CeraVe Ultra Light Moisturizing Lotion. This is an SPF of 30, and put it all over my hands, and I actually remembered my ears and my neck this time, and the top of my hands too. So that is all done. No primer for today, so we're just gonna get into it. Let me shake this up because it is a dropper. And I have my Eco Tools sponge, which is damp, and my IT Cosmetics brush. I think this is like the Perfect Airbrush foundation brush or something. I have completely rubbed off like everything on it, but I know it's by IT Cosmetics. So I'm gonna start on this side, and I'm gonna use the brush first because I tend to like brush applications a little bit better. So that is what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna zoom you guys in. So as you can see on my skin, there's not much going on this side. I had a blackhead here that was extracted, and here I had a breakout. And then this is a post breakout that is like almost completely healed, but otherwise I don't really have anything else going on my skin right now other than like my usual redness and like acne scarring. I hope this is the right shade. It looks really light, but ooh. Oh, a little goes a long way. I didn't think this was gonna be as pigmented. I feel like foundation drops, it's always hit or miss. It's either like really, really pigmented or it's really, really sheer. Oh wow. Wow, that actually went really far. And on day one, I haven't looked up anything about this foundation, so I don't know if it's supposed to be satin matte or anything. It just says natural finish is like the name of it. It looks a little bit more matte than anything. Wow, I'm actually kind of impressed with that though. That went a lot farther than I thought it would. It's like a medium coverage because I can still see my freckles right here. And I can see a little bit of my acne scar. It looks more matte because I'm seeing a lot of dryness right in this area. I don't know if you guys can see. But this is where I have a lot of texture on my face, is around my jawline. And I can see the texture right in there. My forehead also is picking up on my dryness just a little bit. But otherwise, I mean, it covered a lot more than I thought. But as of right now, the finish isn't quite what I like. So let's do the sponge side real quick. I already know the sponge side's gonna shear it out. Oh yeah. It does not go very far on the sponge side. Wow, look at the difference. Because obviously like the sponge is gonna absorb some. Okay. I'm gonna use more. A lot more. I think the sponge helped diminish my dryness right here on my forehead, but you can still see it with the sponge. It sheared it out a lot, and I almost feel like it made it look more splotchy than anything. Like, it just doesn't look as even as this side. It could also just be because I'm having more issues on this side of my face. But yeah, the side with the brush looks a little bit more dry, but more full coverage. The sponge did help with my texture right here on my face, but it's definitely not as covered as the other side. Interesting. I feel like this could go either way. If you want full coverage, I'd say go with the brush, even though it does emphasize my dryness more. So far, so good. So it feels like it's dried down. Like, this side feels like there's a powder over it. So it has completely dried down, so I probably won't be using a powder today. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup. It's Sunday, so I'm gonna be pretty light about my makeup. It is currently 10:30 in the morning. So I'm gonna try and wear this for a full 12 hours until 10:30 tonight. It's gonna be a pretty boring day. I'm probably just gonna run to CVS to get some wine, and I'm gonna drink some wine, play some video games, hang out, maybe take Wallace on a long walk, but nothing too exciting today. It's gonna be a lazy Sunday. So I will see you guys when I'm all done with my makeup. Makeup's done, like I said, nothing too special today. I don't feel like wearing too much. I did not powder my face, and my blush and my contour is kind of not there, but my blush went on fine. I don't think I really needed to powder. It set down itself. I have dry skin, and I think it looks okay. I drenched my face in this Skin & Co. illuminating spray, like drenched it. So that helped with the dryness. Otherwise, I was having a little bit of dryness around my forehead. There still is a little bit, like right here, which is like the telltale sign for me. And like right here, it looks a little tiny bit dry, but it's not that bad. I think on my cheeks, this part looks okay now that I use that setting spray. I think everything looks nice and smooth. It's like a semi-matte finish, in my opinion. It looks a little choppy right here now that I'm looking, so maybe I should have waited a little longer. Maybe that hadn't completely set. Feels fine now, but it does look a little choppy. But I think otherwise, it all looks pretty good. Like, not blowing my mind. It's not the type of finish I typically go for. This is a lot more matte than usual, but with the setting spray on top, my dryness really isn't that bad. And I think the more I wear it, the more like my skin warms up to it. Hopefully it doesn't look any more dry. So, I mean, this is a pretty like lightweight. It feels really lightweight on my skin. It set down itself, so I didn't have to use a powder, which I like. And I think overall it looks okay. I'm not displeased. I'm not like overly thrilled right now, but it's currently 11 in the morning, almost 11. It did not take me that long to do this makeup. I just kind of drank my coffee and sat around for a little bit. So I will be checking in with you guys probably around 3 o'clock today just to see how it does. But like I said, today will be a full 12-hour wear test, so we're going to wear it until 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight and see how it does. I'm hopeful. I mean, I don't know any of the specs on this foundation yet, but I'm hopeful. So I will see you guys for the first check-in. Alright guys, so it is currently 3:47 right there. So the foundation's been on for 4 hours, and I think it's looking alright right now. I'm getting a little bit of buildup around my nose. I took Wallace outside for a really long walk, so I think some of that it might be sweat. It has like rubbed off See if y'all can see. It has like rubbed off around my nose. Don't really know. I must have like scratched my nose while I was outside. I don't really think it looks too bad anywhere. It feels fine. But yeah, it definitely is rubbed off around like my mouth area. I must have done this or something at some point. Otherwise, I think it looks good. Not too bad. So I'm going to keep wearing it. I'm about to go to In-N-Out and get dinner. Or, well, I guess it's dinner. It's a little early, but I am going to go and get In-N-Out now. And just chill for the rest of the day. So we'll see. I'll see you guys in just a few more hours. Not too much to know otherwise. Okay, well the lighting's not very good, but it is 11:27 on day 1. And I think it looks okay. It's not really shiny. It's broken down a little bit like on my chin and around my nose. It definitely like transfers when you touch it. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. I think it would look better with a primer. But I know the lighting's really bad, so it's like really hard to like see. But I think you can tell it doesn't look bad. So I will see you guys for day number 2. Okay, today's day 2. I'm going to be going in with the Truly Yours Joah Foundation again. I'm going to be using a primer today, and I'm going to be using a brush because I just liked the way the brush looked better. So for primer, I'm going to be going in with the J-Cat H2O Fresh Dewy Base Primer. Then I'll go in with this with the same It Cosmetics brush. The reason I chose this primer is because it's moisturizing for one, and I feel like that foundation sits on my skin a little funny, like on my dry spots. So this is a nice moisturizing primer, but also the foundation and this primer are both water-based. Water is the first ingredient on both of these. This dropper, man, this dropper just keeps releasing product when I don't want it to. So I'm gonna go over it with a sponge just to smooth it out because there's some areas where it looks kind of weird. So I don't really think this primer helped much. I think it's sitting on my dry patches pretty bad again right now. Just think you can see it on my forehead. It looks, well, there's always a hair stuck to my face somewhere, isn't there? I think you can tell it looks pretty bad on my dry patches. It's emphasizing them in my opinion. It just doesn't look very smooth. My nose I think looks really bad right now. Like you can see all of the like dry texture around my nose, like especially right there. You can see it on my cheeks right in here. It's just not sitting smooth the way I like my foundations to. Like it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great either. You can still see my freckles coming through right there. You can still see post-acne scars right here. It looks really dry on my upper lip. And just my nose looks really bad today. It's emphasizing all of my texture, all of my dryness, all my texture. You can see the texture right in here from my dryness. So it's looking okay. It is currently 10:26 in the morning. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup, but I won't see you guys until later on. It feels like it's still setting down. Like it sets down pretty nice to like a powdery almost finish. So I probably won't powder my face again today, but I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and I'll probably see you guys for a check-in around 3 o'clock. And then however long I want to wear makeup today. But yeah, right now doesn't look bad, doesn't look great. Emphasizing my texture. Usually the setting spray helps a lot, so I'm hoping that's what happens again today. But as of right now, this is what it looks like with just a primer on. Alright guys, so this is going to be the check-in for day number 2. It is 6:45 at night, or 6:45, it's 6:16. Can't read. It's 6:16 at night on day number 2, and I think from like far away it doesn't look too bad, right? Like it looks okay from over here. It's when you get close up that like you realize things have gone awry. So as far as activity for today, I went grocery shopping. I took Wallace on like 2 walks today, and it is like drizzly here, so it's like very gloomy today. It's not really raining, but it's like wet in the air, so I have been around some moisture. But what I'm noticing about this foundation for the most part is I touch my head a lot, like when I push my hair back, and like I scratch my eyebrows a lot. And typically most of my other foundations, like my good foundations that I really, really love, don't move there. What I'm noticing about this foundation is it's moving there. So I think you guys can see there's just a lot of like, it's just really patchy on my forehead, and you can see like where my dryness is on my forehead. It's like really emphasized. Most foundations, you know, don't do that, but I think you can see like when I turn my head, you can see like these lines starting and like patchiness starting from me like touching my face. So this isn't transfer proof at all. It's not really good on dry skin from what I can see. This is with a hydrating primer on. It's not, you know, not looking too good in my opinion. And then on my cheeks, it's doing the same thing. Like I said, I have a lot of dry texture right here on my jawline, and it's just kind of like sitting on top of it. It is also getting cakier on my nose, which is pretty normal with a lot of foundations for me. And my nose still looks really bad. Like, look at, like, there's texture right here. It's just looking bumpy and dry. Just looks really dry in this area. On my chin, it's basically rubbed off. Yeah, it's not looking too good. It's just looking really textured and weird today. It doesn't look awful, like I said, like from far away, it really doesn't look that bad. It's just really when you get up close to my face that you can kind of tell my makeup's been on for a while. It's only been on for, what, 8 hours at this point, and this is what it looks like. So, not too impressed right now. I don't know what other kinds of primers I'm going to try with this, but I'm hoping maybe something will help, but I almost feel like I preferred this without a primer because I feel like it looked a little bit better on just plain skin rather than today. Today, it could just be my skin's extra dry today, but. So guys, that is going to be it for day number 2. I will see you guys for day 3 and 4, probably in voiceover style. I'm not sure how I'm going to do day 3 and 4, but just to make the video a little faster, that's probably what I'll do. I'll just probably show you applying it in the check-ins and do a voiceover at the end, but we will see. I'm hoping this gets a little better because like I don't hate it again. It's not the worst foundation that I've ever tried, but it's just not up to my standards of how it looks. So I will continue for the rest of the week and see how I feel. So by day number 3, I had a pretty good feel for this foundation, I think. I went in on day number 3 with the No Problem Essence because I knew it felt dry in areas. It felt really dry on my cheeks, like right in here. It was sitting on my texture and just making it feel even drier. It was also kind of emphasizing the dryness on my forehead, so I was like, you know what, let's go in with the Essence, see if that gives me a little bit more moisture. Wasn't sure since the H2O J-Cap primer didn't really seem to help much, but I decided that could be a good way to go about it. I also applied with the F80 Sigma brush. I think using a brush was a good way to go. It gave me the most coverage, and I just like the F80. And I noticed on that day it wore okay. It wore pretty good for about 6 hours. I did notice again that it was transferring a little. This definitely wasn't transfer proof. This could have been different if I had a powder and a setting spray on top of it. Maybe that would have locked it in a little bit better, but I definitely think this kind of moves and transfers. I find that that's pretty normal with a lot of serum foundations on my skin. They never seem to sink in and stay there. They always seem to transfer a little bit. I also noticed too, even though it was transferring, it was still looking dry. Again, I have dry patches on my jawline, especially like right here in this area. I have texture, and I could see a lot of the foundation building up on that texture, and the same thing for my forehead. But I did end up wearing it on day 3 until about 10 o'clock that night, and I thought it looked okay. It wasn't overly oily. The only area that really looked bad with this foundation was right around my nose, which again, like I said, is my problem area. For some reason, I'm producing a lot of oil there. Lately, I don't, it's a climate thing, it's summertime now, my skin is constantly in flux. Then by day 4, I decided I wanted to use the Revlon primer, the pore filling primer, and I packed it in around my nose because I was like, really the only issue is how much oil is coming from my nose, and maybe it's a me problem, it's not a foundation problem. So I put a lot of that primer around my nose to see if that would help. I didn't really put primer anywhere else on my face because again, everywhere else felt so dry. I was like, maybe if my skin is producing oil, it will come through. That's not what happens because I don't have oily skin. I noticed on day 4, since I didn't have a primer or anything else, I immediately noticed how dry it looked and felt on my skin. So I immediately sprayed the truffle spray from Skin & Co. It's a setting spray. I sprayed that immediately, hoping that that would kind of remedy the issue a little bit. It helped a little bit, but not too much because again, it's not able to penetrate the same way. I probably should have sprayed it before foundation and it might have helped a little bit better. But regardless, by 10:30 that night, I wore it all the way until 10:30 that night. I still thought it looked good. It wasn't shiny. It felt good. It didn't look bad. It didn't build up around my nose the same way it had before. And overall, I think on that night, I was like, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure if I even got a update video on that because again, it was 10:30 at night, so it was kind of dark. So that was all of the days of wearing it and how I felt about it. I think overall, it doesn't wear badly. It's not my favorite foundation on my skin just because it does emphasize so much dryness, and so I have to work extra to like blend it into this area of my face. I do have it on today mixed with another foundation, so this isn't one of the wear tests. I did these wear tests like a week ago now. Filming's all over the place, guys. But I think overall I do like this. I don't want to rate it too high. I'd probably rate it the same as I did my last foundation and probably give it like an 8, 8.5, maybe even a 7.5. It just kind of teeters back and forth. Some days it wore better than others, but again, like I said, your skin's always in flux. I feel like if I was more oily, and if my skin ever started producing more oil, I would like this foundation a little bit better. I don't think it looks bad on dry skin. I just think you have to work with it a little bit better. You need to be very, very moisturized beforehand. And if you have dry patches like I do, you need to make sure they're really well exfoliated, because otherwise it does tend to sit on top of those areas. And even now, like I'm wearing it mixed with another foundation, it feels a little dry on my skin. So definitely not the best for dry skin if you don't like feeling that. But again, it can be remedied because if you are well moisturized, it doesn't do badly, basically. So yeah, I would say this is probably a good solid 8.5, 8. We'll give it an 8. This is probably a good 8 rating, 8-star rating. Yeah, I guess so. I'm kind of going back and forth on the fence about it. Again, this isn't one that like blows my mind. It's not a holy grail by any means. It's alright. I'll continue to reach for it, but it's definitely not my favorite. So that, guys, is going to be the entire foundation frenzy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button before we go, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!